Stay strong, stay strong. To the table. Ain't easy, I can tell.
You are incredible and awesome. I am Daniel. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe and like. Sit back and enjoy this video. There are times where you work on your combustion engine. You find out that after working, especially after an overhaul, you find out that starting up your engine, you notice your um, car bringing up all sorts of um, codes that aren't supposed to be brought up because some of those sensors were actually working before you started the work. You start noticing uh, parts of the cylinder sensors coming up, like cylinder one and cylinder four, or so on, coming up on your dash, or some readings on your diagnostic machine. Or sometimes you find out like this fault is common with the O2 sensors. It's very common because when you think about the principal working of your engine, it lies on the O2 sensors because uh, your engine requires a lot of environmental air to actually functions because they actually intake the environmental air. I'm trying to be as simple as possible, as layman as possible in this explanation, because a lot of tech guys actually suffer this, and they go around, changing sensors and you know doing more expenses around these parts when the fix is right there. After working on your engine, you have to actually pay keen attention at all of those surroundings around your function areas, those those uh, vacuum parts that can actually allow for air drags, part like all of those things. Apart from doing an early checks around all of your intake areas, it is actually very very important to make sure that all of these places are airtight so that your engine does not permit any sort of drags, external drags. It should completely be composed inside of this its own personal vacuum to actually give it the needed tight and pressure that is required to actually give your your combustion area the accurate amount um uh, of airtight pressure that is required so that when the piston actually does that compression phase where it actually pushes the piston up to actually compress those air into its tiniest possible form and pressure. It No amount of air is escaped at that phase. So when these places are not so completely sealed up, you find out that you have some chemical escape, which will not give you that, which will not give your engine that um, expected tightening that it needs. So of course the computer systems has been set to that amount that is needed. So when it doesn't get to that required amount, it actually signals that there's a problem. Meanwhile, then it starts pointing at the sensors and thinking that probably the sensors are bad because the computer system already knows that you are supposed to tight those places. No one told it that that place is not supposed to be sealed and tight because it's naturally and inherently required to be tight. It's tightened, so the those sensors are expected to function when those places are when there is a problem. But when you have those places escaping the pressure, uh, it's always going to report using those your cylinder, whatever, cylinder sensor or your O2 sensors. So it is just a note, and I think it would be helpful for someone.